Yo, what's good YouTube, man? It's Gary with another Fan TV, man. Back at you another video. The content is good. Go smash that like button. The content of this channel. Go ahead and subscribe, man. Look, so Ravens training camp day 14, man. We back at it. Yesterday kind of did broke it up into two YouTube shorts because I was out. But we can give you a little bit of a longer video today, all right? So, mostly, honestly, it's going to be injury news today. They didn't really give too much about what actually happened at practice. All right. The one highlight that they did say was that Sean Ryan, second year UDFA wide receiver for the Ravens, made a nice juggling touchdown catch, about 70 yards in total downfield. So he's a guy that really stood out last year as one of the lesser known wide receivers, and he's having a pretty good training camp this year as well. He's kind of one of those back end of the roster kind of guys just trying to make the team. So he made another good play today. Hopefully, we get to see him. Well, we will see him in preseason action this Friday, and maybe he'll make some more plays there. All right. So, like I said, in terms of the injuries, Tyler Linderbaum, Quincy Roche, Odafe Owe, Arthur Millette, Trayvon Mullen, T.J. Tampa, Keaton Mitchell. All right. Now, Deontay Hardy came back. Ravens rookie third round pick Adisa Isaac practiced for the first time for the first time in training camp, I should say, and the first time in a very very long time. And the Ravens, the I would say the second biggest news of the day, right? The Ravens recently added Russell Gage, okay, like literally today, and he practiced today. All right, so today was his first practice with the team. Okay, so as far as the injury news goes, right? Odafe Owe has an ankle sprain. John Harbaugh said that's not too serious, so maybe a couple of days, a week, I don't know. But he says not too serious. Arthur Millette has a knee injury. All right, the Ravens are evaluating the seriousness of that knee injury, and they'll come back with that. Don't know yet. All right, and as far as T.J. Tampa, Keaton Mitchell still on the pup list. Okay, so T.J. Tampa, he's losing a lot of valuable time right now. He may be a guy that maybe he has to redshirt this season. Right, the Ravens have a lot of depth at cornerback. And he was already kind of behind the eight ball. He's a fourth round pick coming in with guys, especially if guys like Jalen Armour Davis are going to play well, which they have during training camp, right? So him missing this much time, it's probably going to be rough for him to get on the field this season. So we'll see what happens to the Tampa, but that's just very very early. But we'll see what happens with him. Okay. Good to see Deontay Hardy back. He's still the main guy going back for the kick return duties. For the Ravens. But I would say that the biggest news is that Rashod Bateman did miss practice today, okay? And that has sent Ravens fans into a frenzy like it always does with any news regarding Rashod Bateman that sends Ravens fans into a frenzy, okay? So Rashod Bateman was out today. We know that yesterday he had a leaping touchdown catch in the end zone over at Darius Washington, I believe Jalen Armour Davis, and he came down awkwardly and he didn't return to practice. There was only like 10 minutes left of practice when he left. Harbaugh didn't have an update yesterday. Today he's saying that it's not serious. He just landed on the ball. Okay. Now everything that comes with Rashod Bateman is not drama from his perspective, but drama from Ravens fans' perspective, right? He's already being called soft, fragile, or I knew this was going to happen, things like that, right? At the end of the day, if it's literally just he just landed on the ball, got the weight knocked out of him. Maybe he's having some sharpness in his breathing. I don't know, right? We'll see how long he's out with this injury, right? He could be back tomorrow. He could be out for the rest of the week. I don't know, right? But the overreaction discourse is in full effect from everything. The season's over to that's why you can't trust them, right? So, but what I will say is this, right? It's a physical game, right? I don't really know how else to say it, right? You're going to get hurt. You're going to get banged up. Expecting him to never be hurt again is unrealistic, all right? It's going to happen. So hopefully he can get over this one, and we'll see him back out there on the practice field. The most unfortunate part about it is the fact that him and Lamar Jackson were finally starting to build up some chemistry, right? This was back-to-back days of where Rashod Bateman was having good days with Lamar Jackson throwing him the football, right? That's really the unfortunate part about it. It kind of breaks up that momentum. But hopefully Bateman comes back soon. They get it right back on track, right? Now, like I said, that's the first big news, right? Rashod Bateman being out. Second biggest news is that they signed Russell Gage, okay? Russell Gage has been in the league for, hold on, I got his stats up right here. He's been in the league for 6 seasons because he missed all of last season with the injury, right? So he's been in the league for 6 years. So he has 5 seasons worth of stats. And he has nothing for last year, like I said, because he got injured, I believe, during training camp last year with the Buccaneers, so he did not play. All right. Now Russell Gage he's a solid wide receiver. All right. So let's talk about his career. His career high in receiving yards is 786 yards in Atlanta in 2020. 72 catches that season, 4 touchdowns. In 2022 with the Buccaneers, His career high in touchdowns is 5. Off of 51 catches, 426 yards. Right. So Russell Gage is I would label him as a solid wide receiver. Right. I don't. He's not anything that's going to be game changing or break or somebody's going to come in and automatically take over a spot. He's here just to get the work in and see where he lines up. Right. This was part of the overreaction with Rashod Bateman. Right. Oh, we signed Russell Gage. Does that mean Bateman is out for a long time? Rashod Bateman could be practicing right now, and the Ravens could sign Russell Gage, and it wouldn't mean anything, right? He's not that kind of guy where, oh yeah, you sign Russell Gage, he's your number 2 receiver. Like, that's just not going to happen, right? Russell Gage is a guy where if he's your number 3 receiver, you could have a better wide receiving core. It could be it's okay. If he's your number 4 guy, you're in pretty good shape, right? And I think that's kind of where Russell Gage falls in, right? He's like number 4, or he's fighting for number 4 with Tylan Wallace, right? That's kind of where Russell Gage fits into this equation, okay? Zay Flowers, Bateman, assuming that this injury is not serious, right? With Harbaugh, getting injury updates can be sporadic in terms of how accurate they are from him, right? But if he's right about this one, this probably injury is not serious. You still have Zay, you have Bate, you have Aguilar, and then you have Russell Gage and Tylan Wallace fighting for the 4th receiver, right? Russell Gage being on this team is nothing but adding depth to the wide receiver position, right? I believe that Tylan Wallace has had a good start to training camp, right? But they're worried about their receivers after that, right? Typically teams carry 6 receivers. A lot of teams carry 5, right? Well, a lot of teams carry 6, to say Ravens tend to carry like 5, somewhere around that range, right? So the Ravens probably believe that they didn't have enough depth at that position to truly feel like they're okay, right? They're one injury from being Deontay Hardy being their 4th receiver, right? Deontay Hardy, like I said, is still more of a return guy, even though he's not bad at wide receiver at all. He's made some explosive plays in the past, especially for the Saints back, back in the day, right? So Russell Gage being here is nothing more to me than adding a solid depth piece to the Ravens offense, a guy that is generally going to be in the right place at the right time. He's a 6-foot wide receiver. He's under 200 pounds. He's like, they got him listed at 185, right? So not an overly big guy, but a solid receiver that can do a couple of things in your offense, right? He's not replacing anybody. He's not insurance for anybody. He's just a guy that that's going to be here to give the Ravens added depth in the wide receiver room, right? Because if we're being honest, yes, the Ravens were really 4 wide receivers deep that you felt okay about playing, right? And really only 3 deep that you felt really, really good about playing. Like, Zay, Bate, Aguilar, you feel good about those guys. Tylan Wallace, we haven't really seen it in extended action at wide receiver, right? I like what he's been doing in training camp, but we haven't seen it for an extended period of time as far as, going against NFL caliber players as far as starters, right? So Russell Gage has experience doing that. So I would say everybody just calm down. Let's wait to see more about this Rashod Bateman thing, and we'll go from there, right? But adding Russell Gage is not a replacement. It's nothing to do with, if, like I said, Rashod Bateman was perfectly healthy, they could have signed Russell Gage, and it wouldn't mean anything besides adding another depth wide receiver to the roster, right? Russell Gage is only 28 years old, so he's still a good age as well, all right? So that's pretty much the Ravens training camp update for today. Injuries are kind of rolling in. It's that kind of time of the year training camp when you're getting the pads on, more physical plays happening, and the Ravens signed a veteran wide receiver to add some depth to the wide receiver room, right? So, like I said, I'll keep you updated on what's said about Rashod Bateman. But as of right now, he did not practice. For tomorrow, we'll see what happens, right? But that's the update, man. It's Gabriel, the Fan TV. I'm out.